Question: what is the most down bad piece of fiction to ever exist in both anime and manga? Is it Redo of Healer, Yoga no Sora, Interspecies Review, Prison School? This is a question that has been asked since the dawn of time.
What is it?
I don't know.
As a cultured weeb through and through, I'm always in the search for the next big thing. And after spending countless hours reading through manga after manga, trying to find that one piece of fiction that reaches the peak of degeneracy and have a good plot to it, it was very difficult to maintain my sanity, trust me, but in the end I finally found it. Before we start, if you are below a certain age, you should leave now. This is not a hentai, but it comes pretty close. Okay, now that we are done with the intro, let's jump right into it. A manga that will rot your brain. The story begins with a gossip between girls who are talking about how much fun they had last night with this prince named Siegfried. Yep, that's the first bloody panel. And on the next one, an old man is bad-mouthing him because this sick freak is picking up flowers like he's about to make a garland. Then we get introduced to our main character, who is a bona fide S-tier hottie. At least in my opinion, I mean just look at those thighs. Lin is very much loved by the ladies because they think she's an expert in the ways of world, but that is very further from the truth. In reality, Lin is a liar who has been lying about her being an expert in the ways of world. And in reality, she's a certified virgin. She's the biggest blight of the slut community. When she was saying all these things out loud, her eyes falls on the window where she sees the old man. And what happened next is, I just simply don't have the words to describe it, and I cannot even show you. But let me try to put into words. I felt upheld, disgusted. I want to erase it from my memory, but I can't. Whenever I try to sleep, I see this. Let's have a small quiz. I want you to answer what you think old man is doing. He is peeping, he's just checking up on her, fixing the window, or he is stuck. And the right answer is, he's getting pile driver straight to the underground. The village is being attacked by marauders and they are doing what they usually do. Then one of them attacks Lin, but for some reason he doesn't find her arousing at all. After kicking the shit out of him straight through the window, Lin sees that the village is done for. Then one of the bandits reveal that the prince, whom everyone was hoping will come and save them, is already dead. Realizing that last string of hope slipped through her hands, the only thing she can do now is run for her life. Then Lin runs to save herself, feeling ashamed of leaving her friends behind. After running for some time in the forest, she stumbles upon a sword, seeing this as an opportunity, thinking with this sword she might be able to save everyone. But the very next moment, looking back at her life, Lin realizes that she has lived a very unremarkable life, lying to everyone just so they look at her. That's all she had. Then out of nowhere, an eerie voice whispers in her ear. Not wanting to die in such a pathetic way, Lin gets back up on her feet. Then the same voice whispers in her ear again. And what happened next is the hardest Uno reverse I have seen in my entire life. So basically what happens is, after getting hit by the sword, all three of them turns into female and Lin grows another sword, if you know what I mean, and turns the table on them. Pretty interesting, right? After letting one lousy cock get the better of her when she was catching her breath after the deed, the voice she had previously shows its true self. The sword is actually possessed by the soul of dead perverted prince Siegfried, who is also known as the Virgin Killer. After having a heart-to-heart with him and complaining about growing a dick and telling him because of him her village is being destroyed. After hearing all this, Sig gets furious that not only did they kill him but had the audacity to go after his woman and property. Then he tells Lin to clench her ass cheeks and get ready. The group of bandits is rushing towards Lin, but the next moment a flying spear destroys all of them. Then Lin runs towards her village, only to find out that it has been saved by a group of Valkyries. But just a look at their leader and Lin falls in love with her. When the Valkyries were about to leave, Lin, just wanting to follow her like a puppy, couldn't contain herself and asks the leader of Valkyries to take Lin with her, but only to be rejected. But she gives Lin an offer to prove her worth in Rosen Garden if she wants to stand by her side. Next day, after everything settled down, while enjoying cold breeze and dreaming about her, Lin wonders what this Rosen Garden even is. Then, Sik reveals the biggest plot twist so far. Well, I could tell she is a lesbo in the very fourth panel. Then he tells Lin that the woman she is dreaming about is the queen of neighboring kingdom and her name is Brunhild, and he violated her, which pissed off the royals and they had him killed. After listening to all of this, it didn't took long for Lin to realize that everything that happened so far is because of him. Then after reading about Rosen Garden and finding out that it's a tournament where everyone will fight to see who is the strongest, both Lin and Seek left the village to participate in Rosen Garden where they will meet a lot of perverts, heroes. If you think this is wild so far, you will be shocked to see what this manga actually has in store for you. And the best, or I think I should say worst part about Rosen Garden is the moment you think it cannot get any worse than this, the very next moment it hits you with a straight right and you will be wondering that the things you are seeing, are they even real? This is the most batshit insane manga I have read in all my life. The very first chapter is more than enough to make your eyes roll out and pop, and the first chapter is very mundane compared to the rest of it. And that's a given when the goal of every other character is to fuck everything that moves. What drives a character to keep moving forward? A sense of justice, peace, revenge, but not in this one. A dragon? Fuck it. A robot? Fuck it. Quite literally. And if you are thinking only some kind of degenerate will enjoy reading this, or only someone with worse taste will find it interesting, let me tell you, I am both of them. Sometimes it can get really overwhelming and crazy because the author simply throws so many questionable and disturbing things at you once. Just look at this one panel. And the worst part is, this is not even the worst part. Characters in this manga is very disgustingly colorful, so much so they will make an abstract painting. There are so many iconic names and personalities in it that it will blow your mind, but how they are being portrayed is something either you will like or hate it. If you think Arthur Pendragon as a woman was bad in Fate series, in this he's a femboy idol. Shut it. Round Table is turned into a pop idol group. This one is my favorite character in this entire series, Beowulf. He's the real owner of 3 sword style. That thing is too thick to be a sword. And you have already seen Siegfried, who is a virgin obsessed freak. The only one I will consider normal in this manga is Lin, but she has her quirks as well. And if you decide to read this, let me give you a warning. Beware of this character. He's the most dangerous, disgusting freak in this entire manga. So much so that sometimes it's scary. And if you manage to tolerate him, the rest of it will look like a fun game. But if you enjoy what he's doing, then you need help, my friend. There are so many different races in this manga presented in a very interesting way. One of my favorite is Arabs. Just look at him. He's riding a bike in middle of a fighting tournament and calling it a carpet. And he throws bomb. That has to be racist, right? Right? The weapons in this manga is insane, and that's the only word I have to describe it. Who could have thought that a vibrator can be used as a weapon? Let me say this, sometimes it can get a bit confusing as well. This girl is a guy, this woman is actually a man, and this guy is also a woman. The point is, everything is a mess. But it's a really fun mess. The art in this manga is just peak, it's on the same level as One Punch Man. Every panel looks clean and fresh, but the only problem is it's not being used for the right purpose. Here is a crotch shot of a dragon for you. Rosen Garden is a hard mess of tropes, genre, perversion, peak comedy, and batshit insane action blended together very nicely. I can't even remember when was the last time I had so much fun reading something. And if you decide to read it and catch up to the current chapter, you will realize it's pretty good despite all the red flags. In the end, something a legend once said, the strongest swordsman stays edging for all eternity, and the strongest wizard remains at post clarity. This is Brisk, see you in the next one.